Warm greetings to everyone, especially my Master of Education peers in the subject of global context of maths education, as well as fellow graduate students in Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam. My name is Melvin Tan, and I am with Catherine Holt. We are honored to be your hosts in this year's Master of Education Mathematics Education Panel discussion series, which is being held for the 6th time. I'll begin with an acknowledgement of country. The University of Melbourne acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which our campuses are situated. The Faculty of Education stands on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nations. We pay our respects to their elders, both past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Australians who have made a contribution to the life of the university community. This panel discussion series was created by Professor Wee Tiong Sia, who coordinates it annually. By adopting a different theme each year, Professor Sia hopes to foster amongst mathematics teachers and school leaders a deeper understanding of how the universal discipline of mathematics is taught in different ways globally, reflecting cultural values and socio-political priorities. In this context, this year's theme is Mathematics Education in Fast-Growing Asian Economies. To stimulate thinking and discussion of this topic, we are privileged to have with us today a panel of 3 local academic experts. Let me introduce them to you. Professor Ariyadi Wijaya is a professor in mathematics education at Universitas Negeri Yogyakarta. His research interests are mathematical literacy and reasoning. He obtained his doctoral and master degree in mathematics education from Utrecht University, the Netherlands, and a bachelor degree from UNY. In recent years, he and his team have been conducting research, including digital game on numeracy, an Indonesian term for mathematical literacy. In addition to his role as a lecturer and a researcher at UNY, he has been working with the Indonesian Ministry of Education for several projects, mainly related to numeracy and teacher professional development. He also established a small educational company called Academic Works Solution, focusing on research, publication, professional development, and educational consultant agency in the field of education. So Dr. Narumon Changshri is Assistant Professor of Mathematics Education, Chair of the Mathematics Education Master's Program, and the Director of the Center of Research in Mathematics Education at the Faculty of Education, Khon University. She's also Thailand's representative to the International Commission on Mathematical Instruction. Narumon is also a council member of the World Association of Lesson Study and serves on the executive committee of the International Society for Mathematics and Sciences Education, a collaborative work between Japan, Thailand, and Laos. Narumon's research interests include teachers and students' beliefs, mathematical thinking, problem solving, hands-on activities, unplugged computational thinking, and professional learning communities based on the TLSOA model, transformative lesson study incorporating open approach. And our third panelist is Associate Professor Tran Kiam Min, who is currently Dean of the Department of Mathematics at Hue University of Education, Vietnam. His research focuses on professional development for pre-service and in-service mathematics teachers, classroom observation, the integration of technology in mathematics learning, and secondary school students' mathematical thinking. Min has led research projects funded by the Vietnam National Foundation for Science and Technology Development, including digital technology in teaching and learning, mathematics in Vietnam and France, context and uses, and developing knowledge and professional competence of pre-service mathematics teachers to meet the 2018 secondary mathematics program. Recently, he contributed to the British Council-funded project Educators Digital Hub. Over the next hour or so, we will hear from all three panelists who will speak to the theme of the context of the country they represent for about 10 minutes each. We will then open the floor to some 20 minutes of question and answer, which will be moderated by Catherine. We encourage you to pose your questions or comments verbally after the panel has presented. In the meantime, you're most welcome to use the chat function to discuss anything which has been discussed by any of the three panelists. The panel presentation is being recorded for the benefit of anyone interested to listen to it after today. However, the Q&A component will not be recorded. So let me again introduce our first panelist for today, Professor Ari. If I could pass over to you, and we look forward to hearing what you have to share with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ten. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to Professor Shah for this great opportunity for me to meet all of you, although it's online meeting. Let me share my screen. Okay, thank you very much. In this occasion, I would like to share what I call as mathematics education in Indonesia in the last 2 decades. So from 2004 to today, 2025. But first of all, I would like to introduce Indonesia. Indonesia is a large country. Of course, in comparison to Australia, it's smaller in terms of the geographic area. But we have 38 provinces. We have 70,000 islands. And we have about 10 times larger of the population in comparison to Australia, because we have about 280 millions population here. So from this description, it's clear that we have quite a challenge in terms of education, because the capital cities, the capital cities Indonesia is Jakarta, is somewhere here, but we have areas which is really far from the capital city. Let's say the Papua is here, it's really far. So the distribution of anything, it's not only goods, but also about the education, about the information, it's not easy in comparison to distribution from Jakarta to other areas. And about the educational systems, I would like to introduce, this is what we have. We have primary schools, 6 years, and then junior high schools, 3 years. And then for the senior high school, we have two options. The first is general high schools. It's kind of pre-university level, and the other one is vocational senior high school level. It's more about engineering and etc. And here's what I call as Indonesian education in the last 2 decades. In 2004, the government changed from the content-based curriculum to competent-based curriculums. So before 2004, our curriculum is content-based. So the emphasis on the how students can master the content, the topics, and the knowledge from every single subject. But since 2004, the government changed into competence-based curriculum. So it's more competence. So not only knowledge, but also skills and attitude here. And another new policy established in this year, 2004, is it was partly decentralized. So previously we have centralized curriculum. Everything was similar from Jakarta to any other area in Indonesia. But in 2004, the government decided to make it into partly decentralized. Why we call it as partly decentralized? Because there are some area which is kind of minimum standard for every single areas. It was quite close to the CCSS in the United States. Common Core state standards. So it was pretty similar. But in addition to this kind of customized curriculums, the emphasis is on the school level because every single schools can adjust the curriculum based on their characteristic, their needs, and etc. Because it's used kind of what we call a school-based management. But it lasts only about 9 years. It lasted only 9 years. Because in 2013, the government decided to make it again fully centralized. So the curriculums, again, the same, exactly the same for every single areas in Indonesia. And in terms of the content here, in 2013, the government gave more emphasis on spiritual and affective aspects. In previous years, before the 2013s, it's mainly only on the knowledge, and the skills is about the application of the knowledge. But since 2013s, the government added spiritual aspects as the first core competence. We have 4 core competencies. The first is spiritual aspects. The second one is affective aspect or social aspects. The third one is knowledge aspect, and the last one is skill aspect. In 2021, the government again changed the curriculums. Yeah, in Indonesia, we quite frequently change the curriculum, actually. It depends on the government, the ministry, and the new policy, of course. And in 2021, actually, it was in 2020, during the COVID area, the government decided to simplify the curriculums. Because during that area, the learning process was mainly conducted online, through online meeting. That was really hard time for us in Indonesia. That's why the government decided to simplify the curriculum, only focus on the essential aspects of the content. But after the COVID pandemic, the government changed the curriculum into, we call it as Merdeka curriculum. Merdeka means freedom, because these new curriculums give more flexibility to the schools, to the teachers, to adjust the curriculum content to their needs and to their characteristics. But it's still centralized. And in previous curricula, the curriculum in Indonesia was designed for every single grades. So let's say grade 1, grade 2 until grade 12. But since 2021 or 2023, to be precise, the curriculum was based on phase. Let's say we have phase A for grade 1 and grade 2. We have phase B for the curriculum for the grade 3 and 4. Phase C for grade 5 and 6, and so on. So no longer 1 year scope, but it's about a 2-year scope. Another great decision of the government is we decided to no longer conducted the national examination. Previously, we had national examination in grade 6, grade 9, and grade 12. But the government in 2021, there was no longer national examination. Instead, we have a kind of national survey on literacy and numeracy. So only focus on these 2 areas, literacy and numeracy. But because it's a survey, it's not a census, it means that it's not every single student. So not every single student participated in this national survey on literacy and numeracy, but only selected, randomized selected students. So from school, only about 40 to 80 students participated in national survey on literacy and numeracy. The decision of government why we focus on literacy and numeracy is mostly about the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. For the 4th goals of SDGs, which is quality education. Because for the quality education, the quality of education in every single country was measured by the proficiency of students functional literacy and numeracy. That's why Indonesia decided to narrow down the objective into these two areas. However, it's not only for the language and mathematics subject matters, because the government apply literacy and numeracy across disciplines. So every single subject were asked to deliver numeracy and literacy as well. And another policy was given in 2025. In 2025, the government added health as new targeted student profile. So we had student profile previously. We call it as profile, Pancasila student profile. The profile consisted of a kind of religiosity, creativity, self-regulated learner, and cooperation. But in 2025, the government added health as new student profile here. And in terms of mathematics curriculums, there are actually, it's not only since 2025, this content and process, because in our curriculum, since curriculum 2021, the coverage of the curriculums comprise two aspects. The first one is the content. The content means numbers, geometry, algebra, data analysis, and probability. And the process, it's quite close to NCTM's standard process. The process here means that in addition to the contents given to the students, the teachers also need to provide opportunity for students to develop their problem-solving skills, mathematical reasoning skills, mathematical communication, mathematical representation, mathematical connection, and proof, mathematical proof. So it's not only about the content, but also about the thinking process. And another new regulation of the government is the national examination. We again conducted national examination since 2025, but we call it as a new form of national exam because it's not compulsory for every single students, but it's optional. Students who want to take the national examination, they can take it, they can choose, they can participate. And the result of this national examination will be used kind of for entering university for the senior high school level. So I think that's it because it's already 10 minutes, I suppose. So I give the floor back to Dr. Tan. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Ari. That's most informative, and we look forward to the Q&A. So remember, if you have any questions, start writing them down or putting them in the chat. Thank you so much. Our next panelist who's going to share with us, if I could introduce to you Dr. Narimon, and she is from Thailand. So if I could give you the floor now. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mario Tan. I would like to share my screen. Just a moment. Good afternoon from Thailand, and we can say Sawadika in Thai words. And first, I would like to say thank you very much to Professor Vichong to invite me to share my experience in mathematics education in Thailand. And thank you the team for organizing this session. And here is the world map, and Thailand is a very small country like this. So it's very exciting that this is the number of students who study in Australia. It's nearly 20,000. So it means that students in Thailand is quite looking for study in abroad, and for that Australian education is very popular and they want to study here. For me, I have experience to visit in University of Melbourne in 2019 with Professor Wee Chong. That is a very good experience for me to study in this. And I would like to share the education system in Thailand. There are 3 types of education, like the first formal education, non-formal, and informal education. And the level of education is like a basic education. Start with early childhood education from 3 years to 6 years, and after that, primary education, lower secondary education, and upper secondary education. And if we finish like the upper secondary education, we can go to higher education. And if you want to be a teacher, you will take to university course for 4 years or 5 years like this. And the mathematics education program is offered at university with a 4-year designed to prepare teachers. And in 2004, the program underwent a major reform to become a professional curriculum with a 5-year duration, including 1 year of student internship in school. But at present, it has reverted to a 4-year program. And when we graduate from the university and want to be a teacher, they need like a professional teaching license with the Teachers Council of Thailand. And there are 3 licenses, a provisional teaching license for 2 years, for whose without yet being required to have the result of the teacher professional competency examination and assessments. And we have the basic teaching license for 5 years and advanced teaching license for 7 years. And I would like to share the curriculum structure in mathematics education program for preparing mathematics teacher. This is the structure initiated by Professor Maitri, who is the founder of Mathematics Education Program in Khon Kaen University. And in traditional teaching in Thailand, especially in mathematics classroom, we focus only on the product and the teacher like a talk and chalk or some lecture and give more examination for students. But in this program, we try to change a program for preparing a teacher. We have a major subject like school mathematics, mathematical learning process, and mathematics teaching. This is like the PCK concept and using the mathematical process into integrated in all subjects. And also for preparing a mathematics teacher, the core value like building collaboration, public concern, open-minded attitude, and emphasis on product process is implemented through like a special activity. And we use like a lesson study to base to all activity. And when student teacher go to school to have a teaching practicum in the school, they use like lesson study and open upload with their in-service teacher in the school. And we also have the master degree in mathematics education. There is a 2-year master degree in mathematics education program for those who hold a bachelor degree in education. And also, we have a 2-year master program for those who graduate with a bachelor degree in mathematics and continue their study in mathematics education, and we call 4+2 program. 4 is meaning They study bachelor program in mathematics department and continue to master program for 2 years in the faculty of education. And this group of students is required to complete 1 year for teaching practice in school. And when they graduate with a master degree, are eligible to apply for university lecturer position. However, they are qualified to teach only at undergraduate level. And we also have a doctoral program in mathematics education, study about allowed 3 to 6 years. And if graduates are eligible to apply for higher education faculty position and are qualified to teach at the undergraduate, master, and doctoral level. We also have the Association for Mathematics Education. The first is the Thailand Society of Mathematics Education. This organized in 2014, and we have annual conference in every year. And this year we try to push up the Journal of Thailand Society of Mathematics Education. And we also have the National Open Class to reskill upskill mathematics teacher in every year. And we also have a society collaborating among Thailand, Japan, and the DR to organize the annual international conference in every year. And we have a selected paper to publish in the International Journal of Research on Mathematics and Science Education. And I would like to share our pilot study inspired by Professor Alan Bishop and Professor Wee Chong in the third wave lab. We try to use the idea of values in learning mathematics to do a research with our graduate students, like this. This is a research doing with Mr. Anusha Koyatha. He is a master student and had a practicum in school by using open approach and lesson study. And the target group consists of 152 grade 4 to grade 6 in the rural school from 3 element school in Khon Kaen province. The school have implemented lesson study incorporating open approach based on Professor Maitri framework like this. And every week, the teacher have co-plan to doing design research lesson and co-do to teach in the classroom. And we have another team to observe. And after that, we have a reflect like this. And the teaching approach, we use like open approach. The first is a posing problem situation, and after that, students have a time to self-learning and discuss with their friends in the group, and they have a time to share their idea with the whole class discussion. And finally, a teacher summarize the connecting by student idea like this. The result found that every score is very high, especially in valuing in problem-solving process with mathematical understanding is very high. It's like this. And the study found that no significant difference between gender. This means that for none of the list component like attitude, approach, or value related to mathematical learning was there a statistically significant difference in the mean score between male and female participant. And another work we study about student confidence in mathematics learning. Our target group is a high school. High school student is allowed 256 students. And These students comprise of students from 8 classroom and 3 different study program, like a science mathematics program, mathematics foreign language program, and art foreign language program. This study, Miss Pasala Putglang, who is a researcher, she is a teacher in this target group. And when we conduct a prelim data, we found that the consistent student confidence in mathematics learning across all 3 study programs, while students from all 3 programs agree that they could perform well in mathematics, and they paradox also strongly agree that mathematics was not their strong point. Furthermore, they tend to disagree that they were capable to solve difficulty math problem or could find multiple approaches to solve them. And in the overall right in the screen, it was found that only 25 students felt very confident, and 127 students is quite confident, and the number of 98 students quite tend to quite unconfident, and 6 students represent like I'm not confident in mathematics. Okay, I will finish my share. Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Dr. Naramon, and we look forward to having further questions about your presentation today. And now we move on to our third panelist for the evening. I'd like to introduce Associate Professor Tran Kim Min, and I'll give the floor to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, okay. So good afternoon from Vietnam. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Wee Tiong and the team for organizing this seminar. So it is a great pleasure to share with you about mathematics education in Vietnam, and with a particular focus on its context, its developments, and some challenges we are facing. So historically, Vietnam has maintained a teacher-centered model of instruction. That means the teaching and learning process focus mainly on the teacher, the teaching, and also in mathematics, procedural knowledge. So it's closely related to a test-oriented teaching and learning mathematics. So with ultimate goal is to succeed in high-stake examinations. So it includes entrance exams to selected lower secondary schools, so beginning from grade 6 to grade 9. Competitive entrance exams to high school, upper secondary school from grade 10 to grade 12. It also includes entrance exam for gifted student, gifted school, or in Vietnamese in Vietnam specialized schools, and from grade 10 to grade 12, and finally, of course, the university entrance exam. So these exams make much pressures on students, but also on parents. Vietnam, among the common and regular schools, there is also a system of selected lower secondary schools and gifted high school or specialized high schools. So this is a tradition in Vietnam education system. This is a nationwide system of gifted high school, and in this school, the teaching and learn it focuses on specific subjects such as mathematics, physics, literature, history, on subjects. So normally there are 1 to 3 gifted schools in each province. In these schools, the main objective is prepares for students to participate in regional, national, and international Olympiad competitions. Concerning mathematics teacher education system, so in Vietnam, after grade 12, to become a future mathematics teacher in secondary schools, you must enroll in universities of education and the faculty of mathematics in this university of educations. In this university of education, there are training program, a 4-year training program. So it's similar to Thailand. It follows a parallel model where students study advanced mathematics alongside courses in pedagogy, psychology, and mathematics education, the teaching and learning of mathematics. From my point of views, these teacher education program promote and develop a strong mathematical background for future teachers. That means there are many courses in advanced mathematics within the program. Concerning teachers' professional learning, so traditionally in Vietnam, so the classroom observation is an essential tool for teacher professional learning, but it often used to assess teacher performance, especially in some good teacher competitions. And these competitions are organized in some national days on teachers. Recently, 10 years ago, the Ministry of Education has adopted Japanese lesson study as a new model for promote teachers' professional learning. With the objective is that the focus is on teacher professional learning, and it reduce the performative aspects in teacher professional learning. Recently, I have a project working with some colleagues from Birmingham City University, and we implement an alternative model of classroom observation. We call unseen observation as an alternative model of teacher professional learning. So some recent developments of mathematics education in Vietnam. So from 2018, the country has adopted the new curriculum. So we call it a competency-based curriculum. So there is a shift from content-based teaching and learning to develop students' mathematical competencies. And for mathematics curriculum, the curriculum determines 5 core mathematical competencies. So it is inspired from and adapted. It's adapted from the PISA framework on mathematical competencies, including mathematical thinking and reasoning competency, mathematical communication competency as a tool use, problem solving, and mathematical modeling competencies. The new curriculum 2018 adopted also a new policies we call one curriculum, different textbooks. And I think this is the first time in Vietnam we have different textbook collections and schools are allowed to choose textbooks from different textbooks collection. For example, here is three different textbook of grade 1 from three different textbook collections. Then this curriculum promotes the use of digital technologies in teaching mathematics. Actually, there is a growing discussion also about the use of AI in teaching and learning of mathematics, and the curriculum emphasizes on STEM education, real-life problem situation in mathematics, teaching and learning, experimental activities in school mathematics. For example, in the photo, this is about a session on teaching probability in high school with the use of technologies that I participate. Some current challenges, in my opinion, I see that actually the exam-driven teaching and learning still dominates in the mathematics educations in Vietnam. Sometimes we call teaching to the exams, yes, because the goal is to pass the exams. Students have faced much pressures on exams, especially in the society. There are many extra mathematics tutoring classes outside regular school hours, with the main goal is to prepare students to pass the exams, the important exams. The second challenge is the instability of national curriculum and textbook policies. As I mentioned, the new curriculum, the 2018 curriculum, has been implemented 5 or 6 years ago, with the main policies. A new policy is that on curriculum, different textbooks, but now from the next school year. So the country will reverse to the policy on curriculum, one single textbook collections. So from my point of view as a researcher in mathematics education, I see that it is a step backward because it reduces diversity and innovation in teaching materials, and especially in teacher autonomy and teacher agencies in teaching. The third one is the system of gifted school in high school. So of course, this is a tradition. It fosters excellence in each subject. For example, it's mathematics, but I see it's also encouraged some imbalances. Students often focus only on their specialized subject. For example, if you are a student with a specialized subject is mathematics, so students focus mainly on mathematics during 3 years from grade 10 to grade 12, while the learning of other subjects is usually neglected by the student and also by teacher and even by school leader. So maybe it creates an inequality in general educations. Another challenge is the equity and disparity. So the system of gifted school in high school is a minority student, but with a substantial public investment, while the system of general school is the majority, but with very limited public investments. There are also the gaps between urban and rural in secondary education, with pupils in big city often having a better access to qualified teacher resources and some extracurricular activities. Some conclusions. Actually, I see that Vietnam mathematics education is rooted in the tradition of teacher-centered teaching and exam orientations. with recent reforms, especially the 2018 curriculum, it gives promising reforms. The 2018 curriculum is a competencies-based curriculum with it highlights the integration of technologies in the teaching also and STEM education, etc. The third one is that we faced an instability of educational policies, as I mentioned above. This is the return to single textbook collection for the next school year. So maybe it's a backward step. The system of gifted student and teacher education, it reflects Vietnam prioritizes of mathematical excellence in teacher education and also in high school education. But it highlights also the tensions between having a deep mathematical knowledge in future mathematics teacher, and also promoting students' holistic development in general educations. The key challenge is to balance now the traditional and innovations. So including ensuring a gradual change from exam-oriented mathematics teaching to mathematics education that foster mathematical competencies, especially those related to real life. It ensures and also the need to ensure the equities and embracing the diversity in school mathematics education. Okay, so thank you. I stop here and thank you very much for your attentions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tran Kim Min. That was a wonderful presentation. We've had 3 really fantastic presentations today, and thank you all to all 3 of our panelists who have come on board and given your time. We request just a little bit more of your time to answer some questions that we might have. We have a couple of questions already in the chat, but I am just going to have a quick chat to everybody and remind you that please, if you're going to ask a question, you could either do so in the chat or preferably let's engage by actually talking online. So if you could raise your hand if you have a question, please make sure that you can say your name and your affiliation if you have one to a school. And any questions, please make sure you direct it to the person that you wish to speak to, or whether it's the whole panel that you wish to direct your question. And please make it short and sharp if ever possible, because looking at the time, we've only got 10 more minutes. So let's make the most of this time. I can see Jennifer saying you already are ready to go. You've already asked the first question in the chat, but I might actually get you to speak up now if that's okay.